Hey people, welcome back to our class. We're going to talk about the rubric for your next project. So you have a project that's due the Wednesday before MEA, so that's next Wednesday. And there's a rubric that goes along with it to help guide you. So I'm just going to give you a brief overview of what the rubric looks like, and then we'll go back in and look at it in more detail. So this is what a rubric looks like. At the top, you'll see the name of the project. This is a non-representational self-portrait. Then you'll see the learning targets. These 3 learning targets will be directly tied to the pieces below in the rubric. And then the rubric talks about what does it look like to go through the create process. So a student engaged in creative practices imagines a mental image or concept, investigates and studies through exploration or examination, constructs a product by combining or arranging a series of elements, and reflects and thinks deeply about their work by using this create process. We have talked about this create process in class, but this is the create process that will also be consistent throughout all of your rubrics. So over here, you'll see that there's a checklist. This checklist is only bringing you through thus far through the beginning of this week. So we'll talk all about these things, but this checklist is intended to be a tool for you to make sure that you've done everything that you need to do to be successful with this project. You can feel free to put date completed or just an X or a check mark. You need your name up here, you'll have your hour. So as of right now, today you are not downloading this rubric, but that will happen later this week, and you'll download it and then you'll start filling it out. Now, as we go down, you will see that this part of the rubric, the orange part, is called Connect, and it's Imagine, Plan, and Explore. This is the rubric piece that's just for the Connect part of the rubric. You will see here that it says how it's assessed. This is going to be assessed through your artist statement, so that's not going to happen until the end of this week. And then in here are all of the criteria for success. Underneath it says why, and the reason this says why is you're going to fill out this rubric and you're going to justify why you think you deserve the score that you gave yourself, and you're going to give yourself a score. I'm going to go back in over the top and I will give it my score, but if you have a really clear justification for why you think you deserve that score, there's a better likelihood that I will understand what you're saying and that your score will land where you think you've justified it. If I don't agree with you, we can have that conversation. I'm always open to talking back and forth about what your final assessment scores are. So for this particular project, you have a Connect grade, and then we go into Create. And in Create, there are 3 standards that are being assessed. You will see that there's an elements focus. Down here it says line, texture, color, value, and the principles focus is emphasis, contrast, movement, balance. These will show up on other places this week as we are working. This says that it is assessed through your final artwork. So the previous one was through your artist statement. This is through your final artwork. And then you have the present process. So I'm just going to scroll down and show you that this is the last page. You are not being assessed on the last part of the create process of respond on this particular project. So this is present. You'll see that it's going to be assessed through an annotated artwork key, and these are the criteria for success. So this is the standard. Now let's zoom back up. As you look through the rubric, how I really want you to use this rubric is to start by looking at the 9, which is meeting standards. So I want you to read through this. It connects personal experience while responding and or presenting artwork. So for this particular one, it's going to be presenting artwork. And then you can look at the 9 and the 8 and go outside of there as well. But the 9 is where we're typically going to start looking at the rubric. So if you're thinking like, I don't really get this, over here, there's kind of a key. This might help you to just kind of think about the bigger picture of what connect means. It means that you're relating artistic ideas and work with personal meaning and external context. So if you think about this project, think about your color symbolism. You have taken these artistic ideas of taking colors and using them, but it has that personal meaning. We also looked at that cultural context. So you've already done some of this thinking. You're also going to bring in that thinking through your artist statement at the end of this unit. Again, the end of this unit is next Wednesday. You'll have your why, you'll give yourself your personal score. Then, under Create, there are 3 things in here. So there's one that has to do with the application of elements and principles. There's one that's about successfully applying materials and techniques to tell your story. And then there's another one that's about generating and developing original artistic ideas. Again, if you're like, I don't really get this, then you can always look over here and see what this says. This might help you. So this is about conceiving and developing new artistic ideas and work. So this is really about taking your ideas and making them happen. So investigating, planning, making. This again will be assessed through your final artwork, all three of these pieces. And then you're going to write your why. Why do you think, wherever you self-assess, why do you think that that should be your score? And then down here, this is about interpreting and sharing artistic work. So this is making artistic choices that convey meaning. Again, thinking about that color symbolism and how you are telling a story about a single word or multiple words in your artwork. We will get more into this about the annotated artwork key, but this will always tell you how you're being assessed on this particular piece, so that's very clear to you, and then you will write your why and give yourself your score. So that's just a brief overview of the rubric. You now need to go on to Padlet, and on Padlet, let me switch here. On Padlet, you are going to, oh, it's not going to let me switch well. Clunky, sorry. So on Padlet, you are going to be writing about two things. Now, first thing you're going to post can all be in one post. The first thing is I understand. So write down what you currently understand about this rubric based on this 6-minute, 7-minute video. And the second one is one question I have about the rubric. Make sure that you're signed in so that your name shows up. If you show up as anonymous, make sure that you write your name in the comments so that I know who is posting. All right, have at it. See ya.